and welcome to Under the Umbrella. I'm WDTN Plus meteorologist Melissa Barrington. So glad that you could join us today. Today, we are going to be talking about outdoor fishing, and we have Drew McCartt, who is the Director of Sporting Services of Briarwood Fishing and Hunting Club. And welcome, Drew, to the show.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Melissa, for having us and inviting us down to talk about fishing and weather.
Yeah, well, I found this so interesting that I even found you because as we were talking on the phone through a conversation, you have a very interesting connection to WDTN, and to actually find you, I think this was just really, karma as it is. Can you tell me a little bit about this story and history that you have with WDTN?
Absolutely. I do believe it was meant to be.
Yeah, I agree.
In fact, it's been 50 years, I believe, since I have been in this building. My father, back in the late 60s, 70s, for many years, somewhere around 7 or 8 years, he was the art director here at WDTN, which, of course, back then was WLWD. And I've asked him, and my father's doing well. He's 93 years old. He lives down in Florida. And sharp as a tack, he had so many memories about this place. But he did everything here. He was the art director. He helped. He was the right-hand man for Phil Donahue. He even shot some video. He told me a story where all the journalists were busy. No videographers were available. He had to go out and shoot a plane crash that was nearby here. It was a deadly crash, and he had to go out and shoot it, which ended up on national news later.
Oh, my gosh.
But being in the studio here on weekends when I got to come in and sometimes during the filming of the Phil Donahue show, and the celebrities I got to meet, Tiny Tim and Bob Hope, Paul Lynn, Lucille Ball, all the Reds players, some Bengals. It was like a dream come true for a kid, and getting to run around the studio.
And you were a kid then too.
I was, yes.
And I still think it's kind of funny that I lived in Hilliard, Ohio at one point, and you said you used to watch me when I was in Channel 4.
I did
which
indeed.
Is really funny.
I did. Your name was very familiar, and my wife was the same way. It's like, Melissa Barrington, she was on the local TV here, wasn't she? Channel 4? Yeah.
This is a full circle moment.
It
here
is
for
a
you.
full circle moment, and my dad has waited with bated breath to tell me all about the experience in the studio here. We used to make paper airplanes and fly them out in the studio, and Phil Donahue would come out sometimes, and it's, what did you fold today, Drew? That was cool.
That sounds
surreal.
Really cool. Very
surreal,
cool.
Yeah.
So let's get to the topic of why you're here today, because now you're the star instead of your dad. Can you tell me a little bit about Briar Fishing and Hunting Club and where it is?
Yes. Briarwood Sporting Club is about an hour and 15 minutes northeast of here. It's in Bell Fountain, which is in Logan County. Very hilly, beautiful terrain out there. We are a members-only fishing and hunting club, although you don't have to be a member to hunt there. 440 beautiful acres of timber, rolling hills, meadows, and water. We have about 126 acres of water comprised of lakes, streams, and ponds there, all naturally spring-fed. Beautiful, beautiful. You don't even feel like you're in Ohio.
It
when
looks
you're
beautiful.
there.
I mean, it looks gorgeous.
Absolutely beautiful, including a drone shot there I took last year of one of our lodges. We have 5 beautiful lodges that our members can rent at any time, and that's where our hunters stay during the fall months. We operate year-round. We never close. We are open 24/7, 365. So the lodges are open, fishing is open, and our members have come to count on us for low-pressure fishing, because that's often a challenge for most anglers. Is they go to places and they're elbow to elbow with other people. They're fishing in water that's overfished, maybe not clean. They have an experience when they come and become members at the club to catch just wonderful fish, 19 species of fish, more species of fish on our property than any other single property in Ohio. And we're one of the most unique, if not the unique type of facilities east of the Mississippi River, because we have fishing, hunting for white-tailed deer, which we're doing right now, and then, of course, our lodges.
Okay, so yeah, the fishing pressure. I know my husband and my son, they talk about that all the time. I mean, that is a real thing, because they go down to the Ohio River sometimes, and it's boat next to boat next to boat.
Oh.
They can cast like 5 feet over to the next boat. So
Absolutely. And that's one of the biggest problems we
Yeah.
solve is that we we keep the membership comfortably low. Right now, I think we have 282 members, somewhere around there. On a busy day, because people ask me that all the time, what's a busy day look like at the club? Well, you might see 25, 30 people fishing around the club. Not very busy when you have 126 acres of water. So it's just ideal for people having the opportunity to fish. And the thing that really put us on the map is fly fishing for trout in our streams. And we stock trout monthly. Because here in Ohio, trout don't grow or reproduce in the wild. Except a very, very small pocket up in very, very northeast Ohio. So we have to stock our trout. But people love fly fishing for trout. That's become a reputation for us in our beautiful streams.
And they fish year round.
We do. They fish year round for trout. Trout are our cool water species. They love cold water. Unfortunately, we have a decent amount of cold water percolating up through the groundwater and the spring water. Oxygenates it a little bit more and allows people to fish year round. Trout don't mind the cold water.
So now we're talking about some weather here.
Yes.
So, okay, let's go ahead. You tell me that weather is a daily topic here for you.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
So the question is, where do we start? So we're going into winter here. It's fall, winter. We're starting to see changes in that water temperature now. So, because it got really hot over the summer, and I know that got to be like bath water.
Yeah, the drought was a little bit of an issue for us as well.
So, what's going on here with the water temperature and the changes here in the fall?
Sure.
What can folks expect?
Absolutely. The good thing is that when the fall hits, fishing success generally improves, especially with the trout. Again, they're a cold water fish. They love the cold water. They're a little bit more active. Heat stresses fish out, and for just a number of reasons. So when we say the weather impacts the fishing, it's so true. So a lot of the fish that you will see biting now, besides the trout, will be crappie, black and white crappie, yellow perch, walleye, northern pike, and even the bass and the bluegill. And the temperatures start to calm down a little bit. They start to cool off. Their metabolism will stabilize a little bit, and their hunger will increase a little bit until it gets too cold. And then that's a whole nother phase. But the good thing is the trout will continue to bite.
So do they kind of like go into like hibernation like bears? Like are they trying to fatten up right now and then they're going to settle down for the winter?
Well, that is to a good degree very true. Okay. Yes, the fish will start fattening up at about this time. The warm water species, which are the lake fish, like the sunfish, the bass, the bluegills, a lot of the panfish like the crappie and the perch, they'll go into a state of hibernation that's called torpor, T-O-R-P-O-R. That's where the fish will almost become inactive. Now, will they eat? Yes, you can spur them to eat, but those warm water, the lake fish, the pond fish will go down to the bottom, almost go into a period of, just stasis. They're not going to be swimming around a lot.
So those fish, will they even bite? Or
they will bite, but you kind of have to wake them up.
Yeah.
So when you go ice fishing during the winter, which is a whole nother topic, and we do a lot of ice fishing out the club.
We do that?
Because we're in the high point of Ohio, we are going to get a little bit colder weather than normal, and generally we'll have anywhere between 2 and 5 weeks of ice fishing during the winter. So, but it allows you to fish different places because you can get to specific areas. You have to drill a lot of holes, of course.
Yes.
You have to go out there as long as we deem the ice to be safe, usually about 4 inches or greater. But you can start a feeding frenzy by kind of waking up the fish. And so you kind of have to jig baits down for them, either artificial baits, but generally live baits to wake them up and get them to bite. And hopefully other fish will see that. They'll see that activity, and you can create a little bit of a feeding frenzy. But you do have to move around, and you have to drill those holes all over to find where they're hanging out and to wake them up. So
is the type of fish that you would catch in the winter different than what you would catch like right now?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
The bluegills and the bass, the yellow perch, the black crappie, other species of sunfish, like the green sunfish that we have there.
There's a bass.
Yeah.
Right there, that little girl shoot. That's a big bass right there.
That little girl, Burke, was just amazing.
Oh, here's some ice fishing right there.
Yes, that's a hybrid striped bass.
Yep.
Up on our Hilltop Lake, which is the furthest northern piece of water out there at the club. And those fish will bite. They definitely will. But it's the lake fish, you got to wake them up. Mm-hmm. That's bottom line. You got to wake them up. Now, the trout, they're going to be active year round for sure.
Okay.
They don't mind it.
Okay. Wow. This looks like a lot of fun. Now, in the summertime,
Sure.
do you ever have any problems with like algal blooms or things like that because the water temperature gets too warm?
We certainly do.
Okay.
We don't like algae.
No. I know.
I'll
Nobody likes that.
I'll
but
come out and say we hate algae. I hate to see it out on the streams. In a few reasons. Algae blooms can deplete oxygen levels, and you never want to do that to your fish. And hot water causes algae. Hot water and sun causes algae. And so they'll suck up the oxygen. They'll reduce sunlight going down through the water for beneficial plants that are giving off oxygen. And overnight, algae goes through a phase called respiration where they're consuming more oxygen overnight. Mm-hmm. So nothing about algae is good.
Okay. Well, I'd like to take a short break here, and we are going to continue our conversation with Drew McCartt, who is from the Briarwood Sporting Club. We'll be right back. Hello and welcome back to Under the Umbrella. Today we are talking to Drew McCartt, who is from the Briarwood Sporting and Fishing Club. And we are talking a lot about fish today here. And so one of the things that's typically associated with weather is some weather folklore. And there's so many different kinds of weather folklore. And you said some of it is actually true.
Yeah, there's a bit of science attached to all of it. And if you were to dig deeper into it, you could find out a little bit more about that science. Some of it is not, some of it is truly folklore, but I would say there's three that I have used that I've gone by. I've heard some of what I would say the old timers, like my grandfather who taught me how to fish back in the 60s and 70s. So the one I would say is probably the most popular is winds from the east, fish bite least. Winds from the west, fish bite best. And it just has to do with the prevailing winds and what those winds do to the temperatures and what they do to bringing in pressure systems, low and high pressure systems, which I think you know a little bit about that. So it is very true. I mean, I've heard that more than ever, whether you're fishing on the ocean or you're fishing on a stream, you're fishing in a lake. It's so true. And I've heard people say it. I'll go out with a group of guys who'll say, oh, man, the winds are coming from the east today. I said, I know. Let's still go out there and give it a good try. So it really is just all about those weather patterns that the winds are bringing in. And generally, winds from the east are going to bring in a low pressure system and they'll cause a disruption to the feeding. Whereas the winds coming from the west are going to be bringing in more stable conditions or micro changes. And those micro changes can cause the fish to bite, for sure.
Yeah, and it doesn't take much to see like the difference between when they bite and when they don't bite.
No.
Because I mean, I know my family that they go out and it's just like, and they know what's going on in the weather too, you know, and it's like, sometimes they're just like, oh, forget it.
Weather
Other times it's great.
Yeah, weather impacts fishing more than any other single thing.
Yeah.
So it is of ultimate importance.
So do you have another saying that you like?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. All right.
The other one of that is very true, and it goes back to sailing days, and sailors know this one, of course. Red sky at night, you know, sailors delight. Red sky in the morning, sailors take warning. However, with fishing, we say red skies at night, tomorrow's going to be a good bite.
Got it.
So red skies at night will generally mean more stable weather.
Yep.
And what's coming for the morning. Yes. So if you know it's more stable weather, it's not going to cause any disruption to the fishing, feeding patterns. So that's where that saying comes from.
I absolutely love that saying. That is one of my favorite ones because it is very true. If you're observant,
right,
just even in terms of weather, you know, it's a very true one. So.
Right, and it's those red skies that are caused by the stable weather, I guess, the stable weather patterns.
Yeah.
And it's obviously true for sailors. In the morning, the red skies, that can mean bad, impending weather.
Yep, absolutely, absolutely. So you said you have another one?
I do have another one.
All right.
The other
3.
one, which is very, very true as well, kind of like the winds, it's still addressing the winds, is clear skies and no breeze puts fish too much at ease. Now, what that means is if the weather conditions are just too stable, bright sunlight, no wind across the surface, then the fish are not in their normal spots where they're feeding. And as it says, it puts them too much at ease. They're not as in much of a feeding behavior. And it's very true. So again, it's those changes. Whenever a storm is approaching or a storm is leaving, those are good times. Now, during a storm, not so much, obviously for personal safety. But for the fish, it's when those changes are starting to happen is when that bite's going to come on. And it's so true. When that rain, you see those skies coming over the west side and approaching the club, it's like, oh, it's going to be game on.
Yeah, yeah. So you also have a degree from Ohio State University where you did a study on ambient light, and you're talking about the lighting here. So can you tell me a little bit more about that too? How that affects fishing?
Oh, absolutely. Light is probably beyond temperature. I would say light is the biggest factor, and how light changes. It's part of it is visual. And when I was at Ohio State and studying fisheries research and management, we did a lot with light because we knew how much it was going to impact where fishermen would go, where they wouldn't go, when they would go out. But it's a visual thing for fish and how much they can see. And a lot of my work was talking about changing light levels and what that means. Now, at low light levels, fish have a pretty good sense of vision, and they can make out contrast better when they're going after prey. Higher light, it's weird, and shadows will come into play.
Yeah.
Also, changing light levels will change how fish use shade. Anything that causes shade, weeds, fallen logs, overhanging rocks, structures, docks go off. That's why you always see anglers fishing around falling structures, around docks. I mean, those are surefire ways. And what that means is that fish hanging out underneath those shaded areas have what's called a visual acuity advantage. Sorry for the science there.
No, that's good. That's we're learning here on this show.
Visual acuity advantage means that when you're in a shaded area, you could see out into a sunlit area better than the converse. If you're out in a sunlit area looking into a shaded area, you're not going to be able to see as well. So it provides a great ambush or stalking tactic for predator fish going after prey fish. So changing light levels are a big, big factor in who can see who first and better.
So you told me that there's 5 different categories here of weather that are most important. And
yes.
Do you want the list?
Yeah.
Or do you want to tell me the list in
sure.
order?
Yeah. Temperature number 1.
Temperature.
Water temperatures impact everything.
Okay.
Spawning, metabolism, hatches of bait fish and hatches of insect. Light, we just talked about the importance of light and what that does. Barometric pressure, we alluded to that when we were talking about those folklore. Barometric pressure is a huge thing. Generally, when it's falling, there's going to be a fish bite going down under 30. But then if it's rising too much, it's going to cause some changes. So you got to look for those micro changes. Nothing drastic because that means storm weather. Followed by wind. The wind changes a lot. Wind can push bait fish places. It can push hatching insects in different places. It causes weird visual effects across the water, which can be good because it can kind of distract fish from seeing you when you're in a boat or on the shore. And then lastly is rain. Of course, precipitation affects everything. Rain can bring in prey, can bring in insects. It obviously can cool the water down, which is always a good thing in the summers or in the spring or the fall, obviously, when that water can get cooled down just a little bit and improve that bite. So really, those are the 5 key areas of weather that we look for and how it's going to impact fishing success.
What about a full moon? Does that impact
Full moons can, but that is more of, I would say, mythology, to be honest.
So that's going in our folklore category.
Yeah, it is definitely folklore. People will, I think everybody likes to attribute behaviors of whether it's animals or fish or birds to full moons. But a lot of it's just not true. People will say that the full moon, the clear skies, mean that the weather is stable. That's possible, which can help fishing. But as we know, those micro changes in the barometric pressure can also help fishing a great deal. A lot of people have said that, well, there's better visual acuity at night because the moonlight lights up the water and fish can see better. Well, so can the prey fish.
Yeah.
So that's not necessarily as true.
Okay.
So I've never really heard people attribute a whole lot to a full moon in fishing other than they want to believe it.
Oh, that's pretty funny. So what about during the fall here? Like we go through these low flow times and we have the drought. How does that change the behavior of the fish?
Oh, well, the drought just changed a lot for us. It drops our water levels. Algae blooms are greater because of the warmer water. It can cause stagnation, which will cause reduction in water quality. The water is just going to heat up overall. Again, water gets too warm. Metabolism of those fish will speed up, and they don't want to eat. They'll become sluggish. So that was never good. So going into fall is a key time. I mean, it's great fishing weather right now with the water temperatures being in the high 40s through mid 50s. This is going to be a key time for trout fishing for our 5 species of trout we have at the club. The bass, the bluegill, black crappie, yellow perch, northern pike are going to be turning on. The hybrid striped bass have been turning on strong. So it's a key time until you get to those really cold temperatures, and those lake fish will go into torpor. Again, that hibernation period.
So for folks who may not be super into fishing and they're thinking about going maybe later this fall here or even into the winter, should they have any special gear for dressing for the weather? Because it's different when you're out on the lake versus just standing on the bank.
I always tell people, make sure you're going to cover your head and face.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm a big, advocate for preventing sun cancer. But it's generally the wind. And up at the club, we do get quite a bit of wind up there. And so the weather will impact what you're going to wear. Just brace yourself for the wind and keep your feet dry. Yeah. That's why I always tell people. Layers. My
husband and my son, they go out wearing snow pants in June, because they're like, it's too cold out in the morning or whatever. But can you tell us really quickly where folks can find you, how to contact you, and just give us that information real quick.
The website is briarwoodclub.com. Okay. I have no problem giving out my personal email address. You can contact me if you want to learn more about the club, interested in membership. That is very simple as well. It's Drew, D-R-E-W, at briarwoodclub.com. So reach out to me, want to come up, take a tour, where we are giving fly fishing lessons to non-members now. Come up, take a tour of the club. Takes about an hour, and we could show you that. If you're interested in hunting, I can help you out with that information as well.
Great. Well, thank you so much, Drew. This was very interesting. And thank you to all of you for joining us today on Under the Umbrella. If you have any suggestions for an additional topic, please email me at undertheumbrella@wdtn.com. Have a great night.